Hi, the Preserver app has now become a universal front end to put information into software as a service or other applications across the internet. And today, to prove that fact, I'm talking with a colleague of mine, Wayne Bucklar, and he's applied it in his business, which he can tell you about, and its applications. So Wayne, take it away.
Hi, Monty. Yeah, we've known about Preserver for some time because I've known you've been developing it for a while, and I know it's got lots of uses that you promote about incidents and journaling and bullying and domestic violence and some of that stuff. But I didn't have any of that in my life, and so I had it, but it never got a lot of use. I used it a little bit for documenting travels. It was pretty handy for that. But in my business, several things have come along that sort of kind of transformed that, and Preserver's part of that transformation. So we use Preserver for verifying stuff that's happening that is remote from me. I'm a little business. I've only got half a dozen staff, and we have clients scattered across the Philippines and around the world. And yes. So let me take you through 3 of those cases that we use it for. So firstly, like
just as a start, Wayne, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Just as a start, Preserver is available on both Android and Apple devices. I believe you're pretty much an Android user.
I am.
And I'm pretty much an iPhone user. It's available on both of those platforms. And tell them what it costs.
Preserver's free. And
thank you.
It is free in its entirety. There are no nag things to get extra bits and pieces. There are no add-ons. And Preserver is also something that people can install. It's lightweight on their machine, on their phones. So no one's objected to my request that they install it and that they use it. So my first use for it is with staff that are working from home. Like many Western businesses, I'm a little bit different in that I moved myself from the West to Asia. But when you've got staff that work from home, and it's kind of becoming mandatory these days, there's a lot of resistance to staff coming into the office, I find. Maybe you guys have had a different experience. But what I find is that it's a little bit of a case, forgive me for my cynicism, of give them an inch and they'll take a mile. Sometimes I worry that when they're on work from home, they might not be at home. They might be on a beach or on a boat or somewhere else or whatever. And that bothers me a little bit. So one of the things I did was switch the timekeeping to being based on Preserver. So instead of logging into a spreadsheet or something, which you can do, by the way, from any nice island beach you're on, we get them to take a photo when they're starting work and just send us a message to say, record a message, or type a message that says commencing work. And the way Preserver works, it records the map and the date and time and the GPS locations and all of that stuff. So when I know that this person is supposed to be working from a map that looks like this, and now they're working from a map that looks like that, something odd is happening. And really, it doesn't really matter where they work from. What I'm doing is just reminding them every day that Big Brother is watching, in a not so
in a more gentle way than that.
in a gentle way, So they log a message when they start work and they log a message when they stop work, and those messages in Preserver app automatically get stored until they upload them, until they store them somewhere else. And we'll talk about what I do with that when it comes in a moment. So that's my first use case, is that it's very good for telling me that people are at work and at work from where they're supposed to be. Now, out of that grew the extension of that into a second part of our business, because one of the things we do, we work with a lot of outsourcing companies and BPOs, and yes. BPOs actually engage us to verify what they're saying in their marketing, because consumers who are trying to buy a BPO, new customers who are trying to outsource anywhere in the world, have this problem that they don't know where it is, and they haven't seen the office, and they're just relying on what's on the website. And so there is occasions where those prospective clients contact us and want to engage us to do due diligence on what they're thinking of doing. And now that's started to flow the other way, where the BPOs engage us to do it in advance. So
right,
they say, you know, and a good example is they say, we've got redundant backup electricity, because in a lot of places where outsourcing happens, the electricity supply is not as reliable as you like it. So if you're going to pay someone a lot of money to host your staff, you want to know that they're not going to all stop work because there's a power outage.
right.
So
diesel generators or whatever.
We've got a generator. Now, I've had cases where people say, we've got a generator, where what they really meant was, we've got an arrangement with the local hire company to provide us with a generator if we need one. And of course, if there is a typhoon, flood, earthquake, whatever, everyone in town's trying to hire that generator, and the likelihood of you getting one is not there. So the poor old customer, he doesn't know this. So to verify it, we used to go out on site. That costs a lot of money. We used to take photos of the generator, take photos of the compliance plate, take photos of the maintenance log, and so on and so forth. But now we just tell that BPO, download Preserver app, go to your generator room, go down there where you're going to run a test run. First of all, take a photo of the generator, take a photo of the compliance plates, take photos of the last 3 months of maintenance logs, do all that, and then when it kicks off, or kick it off, and give me some video of it running.
Right.
I only need a minute. And when that information comes to us, because it's been from their phone to in our case, to a Google Drive, then from a Google Drive into my system, we know it hasn't been tampered with. And it might, you know, we're not experts in tampering with videos. Maybe it has been, but at least it's not been done simply. It's been a bit of effort to do it. And we show all of that stuff to our electrical engineer, and he comes back and says, yeah, that generator is big enough to run that many people in that office.
Now, you made a good comment there, Wayne. I just want to expand on it, because you talked about taking photos and then shooting a video.
Yep.
You can also record audio and text, which includes speech to text in multiple languages. But that all happens in Preserver on one screen. So while your phone has lots of native apps, you have to jump around between all of them to get what you want. With Preserver, you don't.
And just getting people to jump around and do multiple things makes it more difficult for them to do their compliance stuff with us, and that makes it more difficult for us to collect the bill from them. So it helps our business because it's simple and straightforward and easy, and basically I think anyone can do it. Like, it's going to be really difficult for someone to stuff this up. So we do that. So we use that a lot for often people we don't have much of a relationship with. We haven't worked with them for long. They're just coming on board. They're still experimenting with, can we really verify stuff for them? So we use that. And it's not just generators. You know, they say we've got 150 people in our office. We say, good, just go and shoot some photos of a mob of people working at desks, because we know that was in their office, because the GPS tells us it was in their office. It's not a photo they took of the competitor's office down the road. So we use it for that. And
Wayne, you've just froze on me. I don't know whether that was still recording, but you'd frozen on me for a moment there, Wayne.
All right. Well, we're big on ISO and compliance. So, and in my own business, anyone who's complies with any of this, anyone who does compliance will know there's always 3 parts to compliance. One is write it down. The second is provide evidence of it. And the third is have it audited. So the providing evidence is where we use it a lot in our own system. So when stuff is happening, you know, one of the ISO requirements is that people attend training. So rather than just have people log in on a training spreadsheet or something, I have them log in with Preserver. And then I can prove that that person was in that training room with all these other people on that date and time. Now, it doesn't prove they paid attention, but it proves at least we did the training. So
Right.
we use it for all sorts of elements in our ISO system where we have to provide documented evidence of stuff. And again, it's really simple to say to the staff, install this on your phone. When you start training this morning, just push the button. We use contractors all over the place to do stuff because I've only got a few staff. So if we brought in a contract trainer and they're going to send me a bill to say they did 4 hours of training in this place remote from me, I want them to take a photo of the class. Here's the class at this date and time.
And you identified something. If it's off-site training, the nice thing is Preserver doesn't require a Wi-Fi or a Bluetooth connection, and it still works because it's all on the phone and it collects that data. So they don't have to go wandering around looking for passwords everywhere they go. They can use it without that.
Yep. So all then Preserver can upload stuff, or it can all stay on your phone if you want it to, but it can upload stuff to a variety of places. So
Yes.
if they're our contractors and our staff, we get them to upload it directly to our Google Drive. And we know that that's then tamper-proof. If they're clients and they're somewhere else, they upload it to their Google Drive or their Apple Drive or whatever, and then they share it to us.
Yes.
But there's kind of a chain of custody then with the evidence. You know, it hasn't been on a thumb drive off to the editor, brought back or whatever. There is a chain of evidence with it. So those, you know, for anyone who's in forensics in the police department or the FBI or something, I'm sure this doesn't meet your standards. But for our point of view, it gives us photographic evidence, it gives us a time and date stamp, it gives us a location, and it gives us at least some sense that we haven't got edited material. Now then, that's all we used to do, and that used to be it. But then it required someone to look at that material and make records of it or whatever. Now, in recent time, and it's only in the last couple of months, I've actually got big into AI.
Yes, you have.
So, and so we now use AI to take all that material and put it where it's got to go. And to give you an example of how good that is, we got rid of our expensive CRM system, and we told our AI to go and extract all the data from the CRM system and put it into our own database on our own server. And that's what we do with the material that comes from a Preserver. The AI just downloads it off the Google Drive and recognizes what it is and puts it where it's supposed to go. So that gives us a database entry of material that was on Preserver that the staff took. So yeah, we use Preserver quite a lot. I do appreciate the fact it's free because I love free things, but the one thing I love more is free things that actually work. and this one actually works for us. So that's why we use Preserver, Monty.
That's great. And as we've said, the nice thing is it's not intrusive on employees or contractors. It's just an app they get. There's no registration required. It runs on their phone. They can password protect it if they like, but it's free, and there's no upsell, cross-sell, storage, in-app purchases, none of that nonsense. It's truly free.
Yep.
No reason. It's not intrusive on the staff.
Well, now that we've built our own CRM, we also use it for our sales staff as a front end to that CRM.
Yes.
So if they actually go and meet with someone, or even if they're doing it online and they're they're in a LinkedIn
Zoom or Teams or Meet or whatever,
any of those things, they just take a snapshot of the screen.
Yep.
And then they send that to us. The AI reads that text and puts notes into the CRM about that client meeting.
Yep.
It's smart enough to figure out if you said on that meeting that you were going to send a brochure to that customer, and the AI can recognize that text, and it then creates a task for you to do that. It also is going to nag you in 3 days to say you haven't followed up on that prospect in 3 days, and all of that. So it is, from our point of view, an ideal front end, both for field staff and just for people in the office. I mean, they're supposed to do this anyway, but the routine of just pointing Preserver at something as evidence of what you did works well for us.
And you and I both use, and this isn't a sales pitch for it, but we both use an accounting package called Xero.
Yep.
You could just as easily be using QuickBooks or something else. It's also a good form of expense reporting, because they can just take a picture of an expense slate, and away you go.
Yeah. So we've done that. We have connected our AI to Xero, and I know you can scan invoices and stuff into Xero, but life gets complicated when you have more processes than what you need. So any of our staff who are, going to lunch on a trip or taking a client for drinks or whatever, they just take a photo of the whatever bit of paper they got for that, the bill at the bar or the bill at the cafe. If they've paid it, they include the receipt in that photo. And we now know that was not a receipt that was picked up. I know I was a salesman once. I know there are places who'll give you receipts and, all that sort of stuff. But this just helps a little bit in that they're taking a photo of it. It goes straight into the AI. The AI figures out where it's supposed to go, allocates it to an account in Xero, through the chart account, and then puts a draft entry into Xero for me, and my bookkeeper looks at those drafts. Now, if I trusted AI a little bit more, I mightn't have the bookkeeper look at it, but it's new. I don't have much more than a few weeks experience with it, so we're just trying that. So the human bookkeeper just looks at the draft entries every day and approves them, and then they're in Xero. And of course, that photo and receipt become evidence for us that the transaction was real. So we use it in lots of places, and I'm anticipating using it in lots more places.
Yeah. I think the evidence is one thing that separates it out, because it does date and time stamp, GPS coordinates, and a map.
And I'm an old cynic, and when I knew it was free, I thought, well, if it's free, I'm the product. But that's not the case, because it doesn't collect any information. But what it does do is put a couple of ads on the screen.
Yeah.
I have to say they're not intrusive. They're they're at the bottom and top of the screen.
They don't take over the whole page of the screen. It's just a little banner on the top or bottom. And
I got
that is correct.
I got another free app I use at present, and it opens up an ad that takes over the screen. And there's no close button on it. And as soon as you click on it in any way or touch it on your phone, it takes you to another website and it shows you that. And you actually can't get back. You're locked out of your original app. And as a result of that, I don't use it. Drives me nuts. That's actually a weather site. It just gives you a weather radar thing. Yeah. And all of a sudden you're looking at an online shopping site and you can't get out of the bloody thing. So I haven't had that problem with Xero. I don't actually know if you can get rid of the ads, but the ads are there and they're not intrusive, and pay attention or don't pay attention. But everything's got to be paid for somehow, and I'm guessing in your business model, Monty, it's the ads that pay for it.
But like I said, they're not there often, and they don't cover up the screen, and they're unintrusive. And the app itself, when you get it from the Apple Store or the Google Play Store, there's no profiling. I mean, it guesses your language by which country in the world you're from. It guesses your age group and tries to guess gender, but there's no profiling, and it shares no information with any other social media.
So it'll work in multiple languages.
Absolutely.
Oh, I've got staff
even the speech to text does.
I've got staff in Colombia, but I don't use it with them. I might introduce that. So the other thing that I think's important about it is that Monty approached me about doing this because we know each other, and otherwise he would have no idea that I actually use Preserver. No. It doesn't do a lot for building your social network, does it? You know, you can download it. You don't have any. There's no login. There's no anything.
You do have the option in the app itself to turn on notifications.
Right.
And when I add an additional feature or I get feedback from like somebody from like yourself to add a feature, and I've done that, I will send out a notification. But you can turn notifications off. They're not on by default, and you can turn it off. We do have another area where we say, if you'd like us to send you an email, we can do that too. But my email list is 2 digits. And I've got over 1,000 installs on Android. So obviously a lot of people don't want email, so they don't get it. Yeah. And a lot of people have turned off notifications. I only got probably 100 plus notification people. So people don't want to be bothered. I don't bother them.
Yeah. And I'm guessing that the Apple Store and the Android Store know that I've downloaded it, because they collect and store and sell everything. I might get sued for that, but never mind. I think it's probably true. But you don't have any knowledge of who's using it.
No, Google and Apple don't provide that to you. You can't get email addresses or names or credit cards, nothing.
Right. So anyway, that's our experience with it. We use it for our evidence when we're doing verification and vetting of BPOs. We use it for evidence on our ISO compliance and our certification stuff for PCI DSS with screen privacy and all of the things that you required, our workplace health and safety requirements. If we've got to provide evidence of stuff that fire extinguished recertified, we just take a photo of them and stick them into that system. And we use it to verify our timekeeping, and we use it to input stuff into our CRM. So that's our use case for it. And you know, when you do a return on investment for it, if the initial investment is 0, it's pretty hard not to get a good return.
Does it do anti-slavery as well?
I don't do anti-slavery, but if I have run anti-slavery before, and if you were in an anti-slavery jurisdiction where you had to provide evidence of your supply chain, I would be using it to record the interviews with my suppliers and what they had to say and the undertakings they gave. So if ever there was an issue, I would have that evidence as well.
Great. I think that's fantastic. And I appreciate the fact you took time out of your busy day to share use cases that you use in your real business with Preserver.
And for anyone who's seeing this and going, oh, we don't believe it, he's an avatar. A, it'd be a pretty good bloody avatar, but B, you're welcome to contact me and ask, and I'm happy to talk to you about when Monty's not listening. I'm happy to talk to you and tell you what my experience has been. But it's just as I've described it here.
As you see on your shirt, and I'll give this away, it's Wayne at outsourcingfit.com. So now you need to hit the end record button.
I always have trouble with this end record button. You know, it's complicated. I'm not an Apple user, and we're recording this on an Apple.